Again, my apologies. Welcome back, everybody. In case you didn't watch the first part of the video, I'm going to be explaining the best Warframes and weapons to use. So just logging back in here. Now, the build for the Soma Prime and the Boltor Prime are pretty much the same. You can see in a stat comparison between my not quite fully leveled Paris and my Boltor Prime. If I press triangle on here, it shows that I have a bunch of damage on the left side for radiation and such that are 319, and that'll be per bullet. Now, the way that I have this built is you definitely want a Malignant Force to up your status chance. My status chance on the left says that it's 28%. Seems pretty low, but trust me, when you're using an auto rifle, it's amazing. Now, you're going to tailor the elements to the faction that you're facing. For example, you are going to want Corrosive for Void missions, so I'm gonna just quickly unequip those. I should unequip that, and I'm left with toxin damage, which is just from that. Then from there, if I go, that would be gas damage, which would be toxin and heat. And if I ended up going with lightning, or rather electricity, and toxin, it will be the corrosive damage that I was talking about for void missions. Now those are, that you really do need corrosive, it's very powerful against corrupted. Then from there, I'm going to stick a serration on. You can see that bumps up my corrosive damage from 319.2 to a lovely 533. As I said, it buffs damage of all damage, not just base damage, but elemental as well. Then if I go and put some cold on here, I have both viral, which is toxin and cold, and radiation is just kind of left there. So I'm going to take that off because I want corrosive. Now, if I end up sticking on that would still allow me to keep the corrosive, because it's kind of just an order that you end up putting it in. If I were to put the cryo rounds back on, I don't have any radiation damage anymore, it turns into viral. So that's going to stay off. If I were to end up, do I have any other elements? No, I do not. So that would typically be my build for Void. And then one lovely thing also is Shred. It gives you faster fire rate and it punches through stuff, whether that's enemies with shields and such. Now, that's completed for that build. This little thing is one of the most amazing secondaries in the game. The Murloc, and what I'm working towards getting is the Vaker Murloc. So far I don't have very many mods for it, as you can see. But even as lowly modded as it is, you can see on the with the damage on the left side there, 307 impact and 245 slash, that's outstanding for a secondary. That's the kind of damage you'd expect from a primary type of weapon. So, for this I just have a couple different damage mods, impact damage, slash damage, and total damage mods. Bow Prime's my favorite melee so far, but I'm sure there's plenty more because you can build any melee to be amazing. It's kind of along the same way that I ended up building the rifles. I stuck a bunch of elements on there. You can see I have gas and magnetic. I have my pressure point to increase base damage, and fury for attack rate. And then Flailing Branch, you're definitely going to want a stance mod for your melee weapons. It increases your slots that you can put on. And if I were to level this up 3 more times, I'd get an extra 3 slots that were available. But I'm not too worried about that at the moment. Now, for Warframes, Excalibur is amazing. It was pretty bad at the beginning of the game when it first came out, because it only had like 60 armor or something like that. My build for him primarily is power strength and power efficiency, because the main and power range. Range is for the radio blind, which is an amazing skill. Blinds everything in the area. And then there's this Hallowed Blade that they changed up for him, which auto parries bullets that are coming into your direction, and you can melee it, and it gives a nice range wave that comes out of your weapon, and it's based. It has a multiplier off of your primary, so if you have, or not primary, melee. So if you have a melee that does a lot of damage, Excalibur's Hallowed Blade is going to do even more. I think it's called Hallowed Blade. Then the bread and butter thing that you can take into any mission and last a while with, recommended for people who are just starting out, would be Rhino. In this case I have Rhino Prime, but you can get regular Rhino from the Jackal on, I believe it is Saturn. But the boss is the Jackal. And how you want to build him is full power strength and efficiency. Efficiency makes it so you can spam your Rhino skin whenever you need to or run out. All you need is like 14 energy in my case here, because I have 175% efficiency. Power strength is how fast your Rhino skin goes down. I've gone through tier 4 missions without it in the stats at the end showing that I took 0 damage because my Rhino skin never broke. Then there's everyone's favorite speedrunning thing, which would be Volt, which you want roughly the same build that I showed for Nova. You want plenty of power strength on it, and you want some duration, I guess. Yeah, you definitely want duration, because if I were to drop the energy shield down that Volt can do, it ends up lasting, I believe, about a minute, which is very, very good for most situations, really. And let's see if there's anything else to talk about for now. One thing about the bows is it takes a bit to get them set up. I like the bows better than the rifle, because if you're running something where you're killing level 50s and 60s and such in tier 4, tower 4, sorry, the damage starts to drop off. You kill stuff a decent amount slower, and if you have that Paris Prime or Dread out, then you'll just be one-hitting everything still. It stays doing about that much damage later on versus having a drop-off point at about level, I want to say 35 to 40. Voltor starts getting a bit weaker. Gonna find here real quick where Rhino is. Okay, it might be Venus. Yeah, Venus, and the mission is called Fossa, and you run through that and kill the Jackal, and you can get normal Rhino, which has all the lovely powers of being pretty much indestructible. And with that, I'm going to end this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and a sub, and have a wonderful